Hey guys, what's going on? It's Lefty from 643 Productions coming at you here with an LA Noire gameplay commentary. And I know some of you are thinking, say, well, Lefty, what are you doing showing us LA Noire? This is the playthrough. I guess more on that in a bit, but I promised a playthrough a while back of LA Noire. It's a game I've been pumped for a while, ever since I heard about it and read about it in Game Informer. And it's finally here. It released today. I went out and got it, and I'm giving you this live playthrough. Now, I've already played this mission, or this case as it's called, and I'm playing through it again just to show you what it's like. I'm not going to show you any of the cutscenes or any of the in-between mission stuff, both because I want to keep the story fresh for you in case you want to get the game, or in case you want to watch some of this stuff online about it and decide whether to get it. I don't want to ruin the story for you, and the second reason I'm not doing that is because, well, Rockstar will probably flag my video for copyright infringement. But anyway, here's my review, just real quick, of LA Noire. This is the case. I forget what this case is called. I think it's Buyer Beware. This is the last case on the patrol desk. You start out as Cole Phelps, a patrolman in the LAPD in the late 1940s, and I've been paying attention to the story up until this point, and really I want to get into one thing real quick, because Ernest Lee was giving me crap on Twitter about not joining his party to talk about the game. This is one of those games, and playing it, at least in the time that I've had it, that you have to be paying attention. You have to be aware of what's going on. Obviously, for instance, in this one, a man was shot dead outside this store, and I'm going to investigate his body, and it sounds kind of weird, but anyway. But this is one of those games where you have to be paying attention. You can't be bothered. Here, as you can see, I can scroll around and choose which part of his body to examine. I can examine his face like that. Clean shaven. Pretty cool. When I first played this mission, I thought the blood on his mouth had something to do with it, as I wasn't sure as how in-depth the clues and things would go in this game as far as interrogation techniques and all that. But eventually you figure out that there's nothing there, or it's right here in his pocket. But like I said, this is one of those games where you have to be paying attention. You have to be involved in the story and be listening to what witnesses say and what suspects say. And really, if you're into the story, you have to be paying attention to the story itself. So really, I mean, I would advise you to not be distracted, let's say, when playing this game. This is one of those games where you have to play by yourself. You have to turn off all other extraneous things. This is very much, one of my friends said it best, this is very much like a playable movie. And if you don't pay attention to the movie, you're going to miss the plot. You're not going to know what you're doing. So that's one suggestion I would have if you're interested in getting this game. Now, one of the reasons I was really, really interested in this video game was because they were using, Team Bondi, the production company, was using a revolutionary new way to capture and draw characters, at least the faces of the characters, because as a detective story, this game is very, very dependent on being able to read characters, read witnesses, read suspects, and all those things when you're interrogating them, asking them questions and whatnot. I found this gun, and you can investigate and stuff like that. So it was supposed to be really interesting, and it was supposed to be revolutionary in the field in drawing characters, something that we have never seen before in a video game. And I have to say that is definitely an apt description of what Team Bondi was working on. It is absolutely fantastic. I'll go over and talk to this guy, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'll shut up.
Sir, I'm Officer Phelps. What exactly did you see?
I heard the shots. I thought it was a car backfiring. I saw a girl run into the shoe store.
And as you can see, there was genuine concern on his face. There was genuine a little bit of panic. He had just witnessed a shooting. Oh, here's another cutscene.
If you think she's lying, don't be afraid to get forceful. Verbally, of course. And don't accuse her of anything without proof. Lawyers love that shit. And if you're sure she's straight up, try the general approach. See what you can coax out of her.
Now, as you can see, this is one of those things, I mean, that is a level of detail, at least in facial movement, that I have never seen in a video game before. I know a lot of you are going to say Uncharted and Heavy Rain are one of those games. I mean, they were, graphically speaking, they are top-notch. I would put LA Noire definitely up there as far as realism and graphics goes, but this is something I've never seen. I never played Uncharted. I didn't play Heavy Rain, so I'm I haven't seen anything like this. Now I'm going to go interrogate this witness. This is a fairly simple case. I had to do this over. If there's one knock against the game I have, it's that you can't skip the cutscenes. When you're redoing a case, there's little intros and outros of everything you do, and you can't really skip anything. Although, to make up for it, you can have your partner drive you around the city to different locations where you need to go to investigate or anything like that, which is reminiscent of the taxi service in Grand Theft Auto 4, something Rockstar definitely brought back, and I thank them for it, because I mean they've remapped, or they've redrawn, so to speak, 1940s Los Angeles, and the map is huge. There's actual street names, there's actual everything, and it's really, really interesting. Now I'll be quiet here for this little interrogation.
My boss bursts in yelling that I'm late on my lunch.
And?
We came back. I was angry. I walked in front. I heard shots. I turned and saw Mr. Gage fall.
Now, here's one thing. She's done talking, and one thing in the interrogation is one of the biggest gameplay mechanics for L.A. Noire, and really one thing when I first picked up the game, and I don't know if this is just me not being familiar with the game, I don't think many people will, or familiar with the mechanic, but it seems as though you have three options, obviously. Truth, doubt, and lie up there in the left-hand corner, and you can choose to, you believe that the witness is telling the truth, you can doubt their story, or you can try to catch them in a lie. Now, obviously the game is dependent on, like I said, reading characters, and it is apparent here that this witness isn't necessarily sure of what she's been telling you. But my problem is that the simple truth, doubt, and lie options are, when you start moving more and more, progressing more and more through the game, they are very vague. You don't really know what you're doubting, what you think is true, or what you're going to try to catch people in a lie. A few cases later, playing through this, I found myself decidedly not hitting the lie button, even though it was clear the witnesses were being untruthful, because I wasn't sure of what I was going to be calling them out on, so to speak. I didn't know how my evidence would play into, or how the evidence I collected would play. I'm going to choose doubt. Would play down, and I got it incorrect, even though I played through it. That's bad. But I found that it's really, really vague, and I don't know why. And that's one thing that I think that could or should be improved on if there's going to be a sequel or anything like that. I don't know. But it's one of those things that you have to get in tune with the game, and it's really more trial and error than anything. So if you're considering buying the game, or if you bought it already, I would say to take the time. Don't be afraid to redo cases. Don't be afraid to redo missions or anything like that. And learn what the game is actually, what each thing would do, what each decision or what each choice would do in terms of an interrogation or anything like that, because I think it might be a little too vague at times. All right, guys, that's my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I apologize I couldn't show you the whole of this mission. It's actually pretty long. They're all pretty long missions. Anyway, be sure to follow me on Twitter. Just go to twitter.com/lefty643. That's where you can interact with me, ask me questions, give me your opinions on my videos or whatever you think, and get all that stuff. Also, you can keep in tune with the timing of open lobbies and live streams and all those great things. Just go to twitter.com/lefty643. Be on the lookout for more LA Noire coming from me on this channel, my channel, obviously, duh. Again, I will not be showing the cutscenes. I will not be relaying much of the story to you. Again, I think that's something that will both get me in trouble and ruin what I think could be a very, very, very fantastic game for you if you're thinking about buying it. One thing, though, one cautionary tale before I go. This is not an action game. This is not a shooter. I know some of you might be picking this up thinking it's just Grand Theft Auto. It isn't. You drive around. There are action aspects of it, but it is mostly an adventure game, a detective-driven game with those kinds of elements. There really isn't that much shooting. It's not a shooter-driven game. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about buying it. But anyway, guys, I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I'm out.